Alright, so we are done with the practice assignment, and now we're looking to move on to assignment number 2, which is your original creation. Now, the first part of the original creation is obviously coming up with what's your actual plan. What are you going to draw? What are you going to do? Well, let's assume that you've figured that out, and we're going to get right into drawing your character. So you have a character, and you're going to move them. So first thing you got to do is you got to go to the internet. You got to find the picture that matches with your character. Like if they're going to be moving left and right, you want to find a picture that is facing either to the left or right, because we can flip them around. If it's facing forward, like this guy's facing to our right, this one facing forward. So you want to find a picture that you can emulate or copy that is facing the direction that you want. And then you want to find a background as well that sort of matches. So watch some of these to see what I'm talking about in terms of direction. You want a character to move in the direction that they're facing to make it more natural for you. So first things first, we got a new project now. Everything's brand new. So we have to go File, Save As, and we're going to go Original Flash. Or if you know what you're doing, call it that. Then we're going to go View, Rulers, get our rulers in again, and then we're going to get down to Business. So we need a character. Now, we've got to go to our library. We're going to go File, we're going to go Import, Import to Library. I have my character saved already over here. So I go to the desktop, I find my character. There he is. Bring it in. He appears over here. Now, on layer 1, call this one delete. And that's where you drag your picture, on the delete layer. And then all you're going to do is, it doesn't matter where, like I usually draw, I'll usually take my character and I'll place them over here. I won't even draw them in the frame. I'll do everything. So if I have a couple characters, I'll have one down here, one over here, whatever I'm dealing with. So I'm going to draw it over here, maybe make it a little bit bigger so I have more detail to copy. Get that in there. It doesn't matter if it's blurry, if you saved a poor quality image or whatever, it doesn't matter because we're going to delete it. Then you lock it. So you're not going to mess with anything on that layer. You don't want to draw on that layer. You don't want anything to do with that layer. And then add, okay, so for me, every single layer that's going to move later on, you got to think about it now. So I have one arm, two arms, body, maybe his eyes, and then left leg, right leg, everything there, and then I'm going to name it. So I'm going to name this one left leg, right leg, and you got to think of what should be the most in front. So I want looks like the left arm is behind the body, then I'm going to have the body, then I'm going to have the right arm, then I'm going to have his eyes, because his eyes are always in front. Okay, so now all I do is I just trace. That's it. So I'm going to try and do this fairly quick. For his eyes layer, I'm going to go, and this is where we go to our brush and we can change the size. So maybe we want a smaller one for the eyes. You can put them on the same one, the eyes, because when he looks right, they're both going to go right. Okay, done there. Click on it, modify, convert to symbol, eyes. I'm going to go right arm next. It's the next most exposed, and I'm going to trace it. So even if you're off a little bit, doesn't matter. It all tends out to work pretty good. Make sure you go slow, because oftentimes with a skinny brush, it'll leave gaps. Remember, if we have gaps, we can't fill things in. So I'm going to draw his arm. I'm going to go a little bit quicker again than you should. go in there. Now, this part of the arm is going to be really easy to trace and fill in because we have the whole thing. The complicated part comes at his where the shirt is, not where the hand is here. Because at the shirt, we can't draw a black line across here because it's in front. So when we go to fill, so you go click the fill bucket and you can go to your color and then you can just select the same color. It's going to pick the color that's underneath and then you can fill it in. Now, if you can't fill it in, then you know you have a problem. So all you do is you click on the eyeball for the delete layer and you see, oh, there's maybe my gap right there. Oh, maybe there's my gap. So then you go back, you get your brush, and like I said, with a skinny brush, you're potentially going to have a few gaps. And you can fill those in now. You don't need the character there. I might even go over this a little bit. And right there. And then I can go get my guy Peter back, go get the color again, and then we can see. Okay, so that filled in nice, that filled in nice, that filled in nice. That will fill in nice as well. So we go get the white. Don't worry about the shading. If you really want to take time, I'll show you how to do the shading. Actually, I'll show you right in there. So if you want the shading, you just pick that color, you go back to your brush, and because this is similar to what we're going to do with the arm up here, and you just, from the edge of the black, you draw in and make sure to connect to the black. And then now you can go back to your paint bucket and you can fill in that section. Again, if it doesn't work, click the eyeball, maybe zoom in, see where you've left a gap. So I have a little gap there. So go back to my brush, and I want to make sure I connect all the way to the black. There, oh, and there's a gap right there. So fill in that gap, and then hopefully I can go back, select that color, and fill in the other part there. Okay, I'll zoom back out. I'll get Peter back. I'll go get my white for this section, fill that part in. So now we have the shadow, we have that part filled in. But if we click here, we're not going to fill anything because we didn't close this off, right? So all you do is you go back to your brush, select white, like that section, and you got to sort of do like we did with the shadow, but you're not going to see it. You want to go as much of the arm up as you want, that you think you're going to need. That might be too much, but that's okay. More is better. And then I'm not going to do the shadow on this part. I'm just going to connect close to his shirt there and up to the black. Now I should be able to go to my bucket, and again, can't fill it in, so we got to see, where's my gap? So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to go, oh, there's a gap right there. And then you just fill in the gaps. Maybe there might be a gap there. That looks good, that looks good. Get white back, get my bucket, fill that in. And then we'll get Peter back. And the reason why you do that is because when we actually go to, so I'll convert this to a symbol now. So, and I'll show you. Modify, convert to symbol, right arm. The reason why we do that is because when we actually go to move his arm, we want there to be a whole arm, not just a little chunk of it, so we can actually move it around. And we'll do the same thing when we draw the body. We're going to draw the whole body, because when the arm moves out of the way, you don't want to be just a blank space where the arm was. You got to think, where's the whole body? So I'm going to put his arm back, and lock it, because I'm done with that. I'll lock the eyes. We're done with that. Then I'm going to go to the body. Now, I'm not going to do all the rest of the layers. I'm just going to do the body, and then I'm going to do this arm to sort of show you how you got to imagine what it looks like behind his body. So if you move it out, he still has a body. We could duplicate this one, flip it around, and put it back there, but we'll redraw the whole thing. So body, get my brush. I'm not going to go into super detail here. I'm going to get my black. I might even hide my right arm layer. And I'm going to go, okay, so on the body, you would also draw the head if you want it on here. If you want your head to move, then put that on a different layer. I'm not going to draw the head right now. I'm just going to draw in all these little details here. Makes everything way better. His gut hanging down. Gut number 2. So this is where you improv. You go, okay, maybe his body looks like that. And then we keep drawing, finish up his collar, get all these little buttons in. All the extra little details that you can add in just makes you look like a better animator, even though it's the same, whether it's a good drawing or not. Okay, so we don't have to draw anything to do with this arm, but remember we're going to have to do a white piece to connect in there. Okay, so that looks pretty good for everything there. So let's get rid of Peter again and see if we have any gaps. Maybe a gap there. The rest looks pretty good, I think. So go to our bucket. Sorry, let's get the color. It's just white. Let's get used to selecting the color. And then fill that in. We can't fill that in because we got to get that white gap there. Fill the collar in. Fill there. Fill your buttons in. Okay, and then we go back to our brush. We have white already, so just connect that to get rid of the gap. Go back to our bucket, and we still have a gap somewhere. I can't see it, so we'll zoom in. Got the collar. Little gap there. I think that's it. Go back, select our white. Boom. Okay, so there's his body. We'll get Peter back. Zoom back out. And there we go. If we add the right arm back in, now everything looks good. And when we move the right arm, we'll still have his body ready to go behind it, so it doesn't look like it just disappears. Okay, so the last, let's click on the body, modify, convert to symbol, go body, and I'm going to lock it and make it disappear. I'm going to go to the left arm, get to the paintbrush, and this one is a little bit more complicated because we have more guessing to do. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to guess that his arm goes like that, and then I'm going to come around, get that wrinkle, and then I'm assuming, let's just say it goes like that, and like that. Based on this side, we should probably curve that a little more, doesn't matter. And then come down here, get his hand, so it looks like it's now knuckles. So we gotta kind of go, it's only got 3 or 4 there. And then bring his hand in. Probably something like that. Again, doesn't matter if it's perfect. Now we have one of those sections here we have to fill in with white, so I'm going to do that now. Connect that with there, and then I'm going to see how much I can actually fill in. Okay, arm worked out good. That part worked out good, and that part worked out good. Alright, so then now we can see the body again. We can see his other arm. So now he has his two arms. We'll convert this one to a symbol. Left arm. And now you'll see if I move his arm, we'll get rid of this other Peter. You can move it out and it's still, everything's still there. And then I can move his right arm to where I want it. And the body is still behind him. So that's all good. Okay, so for you, you just keep going. Next time I'll have the rest of him drawn, and I will have most of a background drawn, but then I'll add in a couple other pieces, and then we will start planning out how we're going to move our original character here, or copied character. Okay, that's it.